The real truth is that all of us, like all of them, have their challenges. And even at that early time, there was that great anticipation of the second return, or the return of Christ. That is also borne out to some extent in the epistle for this morning. In the Old Testament passage, there is a plea for the coming of God. And the psalmist echoes the same thought in the psalm chosen for today. And after saying to them that they're going to have some challenges and that they will suffer, that he too will suffer, the time will be when he will return. But you will notice when he's coming, because strange things, unexpected things will begin to happen. The sun will be darkened. The moon will not give light. The stars will be falling from heaven, and the powers in the heaven will be shaken. The passage from Isaiah speaks of this as well. And so all of these strange happenings would get people's attention. What if we were to look up in the sky at midday and no sun shining? What if you turn in the night and you realize the stars are falling from the sky? What if there is no moonlight to guide us in the dark night? And those of us who would have taken time out to look at the eclipse when they passed around would have been amazed that in this universe created by God, there's a time when the light from the moon doesn't bless us. And it's not something we have control over. So that time comes. And as frightening as that seems, it is the intro to the appearance of Jesus. Mark calls him the Son of Man. He will appear in the clouds, and he comes with power and with glory. He comes not just to judge, but to take his own. And so he sends out his angels to all parts of the world to seek out his own. And wherever he finds them, he brings them to Jesus. And even amidst the doubting that Jesus will return, the following things must be noted. There are warning signs. You know, sometimes things happen, and we're surprised that they happen. But often, if you have been taking notice, we would have seen the signs coming. But often we don't stop to see what is happening. And so when things happen to us or happen around us, we seem surprised that they happen. There are signs. And you know, sometimes it's like when we feel a little headache or a little tummy ache, and we say, oh, it's gas. But it's a sign of something bigger. We don't take note of it. And we men, and these days some women, are very guilty of it. we're experiencing certain things and we don't stop to check out what is really happening. And by the time we get to the doctor, it's too late. But there are signs. Then we need to know that he will return. In as much as he hasn't returned yet, the disciples and all those who were hearing were reminded that irrespective of the seemingly long wait, he will return. But we don't know when. And so, because we don't know when he will return, it is therefore very necessary for us to be ready and alert. This is not the time to be caught sleeping or living carelessly, as if there is no God for us to give account to. And there are lots of us who have long given up on the return of Christ, who have begun to live some very careless lives and behaving as if God does not exist and we can do as we like until. This is not the time for that. This is the time for us to try to ensure that we are ready. Paul, in his first letter to the Christians at Corinth, chapter 1, verses 3 to 9, reminds them that even as they face their challenges and their struggles, they must seek to have confidence and assurance that God will strengthen them and help to prepare them for the return of Jesus. They seem to have been the people who, at that point in time, seem to have given up hope. And there seems to have existed a situation where those who were long time in the faith seem to have become an issue for those who have newly become members of the faith. And that is still happening today, where it seems as if those who were there before were giving the impression that they were there already and that they could do as they like because they have made it. My brothers and sisters, no matter how long we have been serving God, we have not made it yet. I would like to remind us that the road we are on is a road that we can't see the end of. We are on a journey. We are traveling on the road called salvation. And so, we must be in that position to understand that even as we struggle through life, even as we face our challenges, we must continue to hold on to our faith in Almighty God, to have confidence in Him and be assured that He will bring us through all of this. They were also admonished to continue to believe that God will keep His promises. It may take long, as we see long, but God does keep His promises. This message speaks to us today. Given that so many seem to have abandoned the idea of Christ returning as the presence and importance of God in our lives. We live as we like, doing whatever pleases us. And many of us, sadly, are no longer interested in God or the church until we face some difficulty or disaster. Even then, some of us make no place for God and that is to our detriment. We must also live as if today, as if now is the last. We are not promised tomorrow. We are not promised not even the next 5 minutes. We have now. We have today. And this is the time that Christ may very well appear. Now I wonder, what would it be like if God were to appear now? How would he find us? And the question here has to do with, how would our hearts be if he came now? That's a question that each of us will have to answer for ourselves. We must keep faith in God's promises and ensure that we are ready and alert when he, Jesus Christ, returns to take his oath. We need to do as the message of Isaiah 64 verses 1 to 9 and Psalm 80, 1 to 7 and 17 to 19 call us to do. We must long for the redeeming presence of God and always live in the expectation that he will come among us. This is the attitude we should have, even as we face our challenges and our struggles. This includes the tendency to doubt that Jesus' return has been promised for so long, but has not yet materialized. May we keep the faith. Keep faith in God and his promises. This we must do if we are to be considered worthy to go with Jesus when he returns to gather his own. And those who go with Jesus are only those who have been faithful to him. May we as a people, may we as individuals ensure that we are not caught sleeping, that we are absolutely ready when Jesus returns. Amen.